Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Flip Side Show with your host, with the most Q Truth, host of Bird City Bowl, or the word flow. We coming at you live, man, at 541. And don't pay attention to the background, man. It's people, it's chopping it up, you feel me, whatever. In the background, but yeah. So like, we coming at you at 541. Like I said, this gonna be the Jeffrey, the Jeffrey Epstein files, more of them revealed, you know what I'm saying? And some alleged photos. Well, they're not alleged. I see the photos. I can't say they're alleged, but some photos show Bill Clinton, Chris Tucker, Mick Jagger, as well as Michael Jackson, and a couple are famous people other than them. So this is a little breakdown, man. Shout out to News Nation, as well as the
Justice Department has finally
yeah. Like I said,
released some of the highly anticipated
everything's cool.
Epstein files, more than 300,000 pages.
OG in there preaching, man. It's good. But so yeah, it's all Urban Central for one clip. Moral Media, no, Morad Media, New York Post, and News Nation, man. News Nation. The clips, man. The News Nation, man. So yeah, man. So we go get into this Jeffrey Epstein files revealed, exposed, whatever you want to say, different words, say terminology. I'm saying, boom, with the King of Pop, Bill Clinton, Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger, and Chris Tucker, man. So let's get into this. Before we get into that, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, hype, hit that notification bell. Let's get into the content. Oh, wait. Homie on Kick, Twitch, Discord, IG, TikTok. Kick, Twitch, Discord, IG, TikTok, Rumble. Let's get into the content because it's a jungle.
Of documents related to the late convicted sex offender were made public today. They include photos, flight logs, grand jury. The Justice Department has finally released some of the highly anticipated Epstein files. More than 300,000 pages of documents related to the late convicted sex offender were made public today. They include photos, flight logs, grand jury testimony, and a lot of heavy redactions. Among the photos is this one of pop superstar Michael Jackson with Epstein, and this dinner photo showing Mick Jagger and former President Bill Clinton together. News Nation is digging through the documents. We'll give you the latest breaking news as we find it. But if you think this means it's now case closed, think again. The DOJ was under orders by law to release all the Epstein files by midnight tonight. And even though the DOJ released 300,000 files today, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said there are at least a few 100,000 more that have still not been released. Blanche says the DOJ needs more time to make redactions to protect victims. He says the rest of the files will be released on a rolling basis over the next few weeks. Some lawmakers say that violates the law that was signed by President Trump 30 days ago. So now some top Democrats, including Senator Chuck Schumer, are threatening serious legal consequences. Let's go right now to News Nation's Joe Khalil, live for us on Capitol Hill. Joe, break down what you're learning and what Democrats are threatening.
So first, I think we just have to say, and you set it up well, there are two real storylines here. One is what is in these files that we can see and that we can actually learn. We're going to get on that first. There's also the story about what is not in these files or what is heavily redacted, because that is also sparking a nerve. When it comes to what's in these files, we've seen dozens of new photos we haven't seen before of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell with very high profile people, celebrities, people like Mick Jagger and Michael Jackson, like you showed, also like British royalty and actors. All of that we sort of knew was happening. I want to highlight specifically two for the public interest, and that is President Clinton and President Trump in these files. We've got new images now, some showing President Clinton in a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell and a person who is redacted. Now, we know some of the redactions are because people are underage or because people are victims. We don't know anything about these people in these specific photos other than they're redacted, but this is getting a lot of attention here. Then President Trump. You see pictures of what look like a drawer with several photos in them of President Trump before he was president, younger version of himself, and several women there, as you see, some of them not wearing a whole lot.
What? What? Technical difficulties in this bitch, man. People talking devilish and shit. What? What? Hold on. Technical difficulties in this bitch, man. People talking devilish and shit. Yeah, technical difficulties in the shit, but we gonna pull him back up. We here. Yeah, technical difficulties in the shit, but we gonna pull him back up. We here. Give me like 2 seconds. Give me like 2 seconds. Yes, it hurts. Give me like 2 seconds.
Though the DOJ released 300,000 files today, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said there are at least a few 100,000 more that have still not been released. Blanche says the DOJ needs more time to make redactions to protect victims. He says the rest of the files will be released on a rolling basis over the next few weeks.
Oh my God.
Some lawmakers say that
Don't worry about nothing in the
that
back,
was
guys.
signed by
It's all
President
right.
Trump
Everything's
30
okay.
days ago.
We're
So
pulling
now
up.
some
You know
top
what?
Democrats, including
Right now,
Senator
we gotta
Chuck
turn off the
Schumer,
camera
are
real quick.
threatening serious legal consequences. Let's go right now to News Nation's Joe Khalil, live for us on Capitol Hill. Joe, break down what you're learning and what Democrats are threatening.
So first, I think we just have to say, and you set it up well, there are two real storylines here. One is what is in these files that we can see and that we can actually learn. We're going to get on that first. There's also the story about what is not in these files or what is heavily redacted, because that is also sparking a nerve. When it comes to what's in these files, we've seen dozens of new photos we haven't seen before of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell with very high profile people, celebrities, people like Mick Jagger and Michael Jackson, like you showed, also like British royalty and actors. All of that we sort of knew was happening. I'm going to highlight specifically two for the public interest, and that is President Clinton and President Trump in these files. We've got new images now, some showing President Clinton in a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell and a person who is redacted. Now, we know some of the redactions are because people are underage or because people are victims. We don't know anything about these people in these specific photos other than they're redacted, but this is getting a lot of attention here. Then President Trump. You see pictures of what look like a drawer with several photos in them of President Trump before he was president, younger version of himself, and several women there, as you see, some of them not wearing a whole lot of clothing. President Trump is also referenced several times in flight logs, and in some cases, even with his former wife, Marla, and his daughter, Tiffany, who would have been a child at the time, and a nanny traveling along with Epstein that were in these files. Beyond that, there is a lot of material in here that is just uncomfortable, sadly, as we might expect. There's pornographic material, magazines, that type of thing, sex toys, images like that. There are also a lot of references to massages. There is a Massage for Dummies book that was highlighted here that our team found. There was also a letter handwritten talking about a younger girl who was an artist, and she took pictures of her two sisters, 16 years old and 12 years old, that Jeffrey Epstein apparently stole, according to this note, and then threatened to burn the girl's house down if she told that Jeffrey Epstein had stolen these pictures and had given them to clients, as it says in the note. So it's just a lot of really disturbing things. Congressman Ro Khanna today, who was one of the driving forces behind releasing these photos, has been in touch with the Epstein victims, the survivors, for quite some time. He talked about what they want to see out of these documents and what they want to come out of this release. This is what he said earlier today.
From the survivors who I've talked to, they are appreciative that finally they're being heard, they're being seen, and documents are coming out. But what they care most about is that the documents come out that expose the rich and powerful men who either raped them, abused them, or were at these sex parties watching them be abused.
And Elizabeth, just want to mention, there are whole sections that are completely redacted. There's one grand jury report. Presumably, there would be a lot of interesting and important information in there. 119 pages, literally every page of that blacked out, redacted, and there are several files like that. So again, people have already been expressing some frustration over those.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.
Rap News, Street Politics, the best hood channel on YouTube, in the low bottoms of South Central, on the east side, with the Rabbit Gang, Playboys to that set. Now, the east side rabbits are a notorious, well-known hood over here in the lows, sharing their hood with 5 Trey Avalon Gangsta Crib, not too.
The Justice Department has finally released some of the highly anticipated.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. You know, we flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different. Well, that was a humanitarian trip to Africa, and
Yeah.
I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane he was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people who was with a delegation. And yeah, I met him, and you know, you don't know people what they do in their private lives, so. Yeah.
But tell me this, Chris. You was on this private plane, and you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it, what is Lolita Express?
Oh yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh yes.
But wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No. I don't know where that thing at. No. I only. Hey, we was going to Africa to save lives.
All right, speaking of the things, you actually had, okay, speaking of some controversial things, you were there when Kanye said George Bush doesn't care about black people, correct?
Sure was, man.
What was going on through your head when Kanye, because your face was amazing, but what was going on through your head when it just cut to you?
Man, I didn't know what he said, first of all, because I was busy telling them, can I say what I want to say? Because I really, I think that'd be more effective. They was like, no, you need to say what we got on the paper. Then all of a sudden they said, go, Chris, let's go. What's going on? So I said, listen, George W. Bush loved black people. I don't know what's going on. So he had me looking like Uncle Tom, and he was like Nat Turner. But afterwards, we was in the back. Kanye was like, man, I don't know, man. This is crazy. I don't know how this is going to come out. I don't know. He became a superstar after that.
Y'all a part of history after that one.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's American history right there.
Your relationship with Michael Jackson, how do you explain that?
Oh, man, that's another one, man. Just a blessing growing up. We grew up with Michael. Like my sister said, we grew up with Michael Jackson, and he was amazing, man. And when he died, that affected me like everybody else. It was powerful, man. And he was like a brother. But to have somebody like that grow up, never thought I would meet him, become friends with him. And he was talented, but he was brilliant, and he was just amazing person, always kind to me. And it was just a blessing I was in one of his videos, Rock My World, and only a few actors, got in videos like that, like Michael Jordan. I was in the one that Marlon Brando was in, and Magic Johnson was in, Eddie Murphy was in one of his videos. But he liked me enough to put me in one of his videos, and I'll never forget that. And just the times we hung out. So it was a great friendship.
Yeah,
He was a great person, man.
Yes.
When he was doing the Black and Blue video.
Black and White.
he was black or whatever. I'm doing all the time.
Charlie Chan.
Okay, anyway, we went on the set of the J, and I've known him since he was 11 years old. And he stopped shooting. We went into his trailer, spent at least about an hour. He stopped shooting the video just long enough to sit there and talk to us about times and when he played the Dovetown Theater and our first time meeting him. He was that kind of person.
Whoa, yes, that's awesome.
He was one of those very, very, very soft-spoken, but really a good person.
Yes.
Got anything to say, grandson? Before we cut this short?
Oh no, we're good. Thank you, man. I really do appreciate you for coming on and talking to us. You're great.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Mr. Levert, love you so much. Thank y'all for having me. It's like family. And your daughter, your beautiful daughter, thank you. And man, thank y'all, man. Can't wait to meet you guys in person. I don't know if we ever met, but I can't wait to meet you guys in person.
You take care, Chris.
I see you around, brother.
I love you. Okay, Mr. Levert. God bless y'all, man. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
The Justice Department has finally released some of the highly anticipated Epstein files. More than 300,000 pages of documents related to the late convicted sex offender were made public today. They include photos, flight logs, grand jury testimony, and a lot of heavy redactions. Among the photos is this one of pop superstar Michael Jackson with Epstein, and this dinner photo showing Mick Jagger and former President Bill Clinton together. News Nation is digging through the documents. We'll give you the latest breaking news as we find it. But if you think this means it's now case closed, think again. The DOJ was under orders by law to release all the Epstein files by midnight tonight. And even though the DOJ released 300,000 files today, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said there are at least a few.
All of these new photos have dropped, and what did shock me is that Michael Jackson appears to be in these photos of these new files. So much has been redacted, but what do you even expect? But in so many of these pictures, you see many other celebrities. You see Chirs Tucker. You even see Michael Jackson, who was posing with Epstein and also in a picture with Diana Ross. Then you also see multiple pictures of the royal family. You've got Prince Andrew, you've got Sarah Ferguson, you've got multiple pictures of Bill Clinton in a pool, so many posing with different women. And of course, just because you take a picture with him does not mean for a fact that you've done something horrific. However, the negative connotations are implied, and it definitely is shocking. Some people are saying that this is AI, but I don't believe that this is AI. I believe that this is genuine pictures. It is shocking. I didn't expect Michael Jackson to be in these pictures, but outside of him.
A massive new release of Jeffrey Epstein records is now public, and it includes hundreds of thousands of pages of documents and photos that offer a deeper look into the late financier's world. Friday marked the end of the 30-day deadline for the Justice Department to comply with a bipartisan law signed by President Trump requiring the release of all unclassified Epstein records, along with as much classified material as legally possible. Since the law took effect, federal judges have also approved the unsealing of grand jury transcripts tied to Epstein and his longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently serving a 20-year federal prison sentence. As the files began rolling out, access to the Justice Department's website was briefly disrupted, with users encountering error messages and queue rejections as interest surged. Among the most striking material in the release are photographs. Several images show Epstein enjoying backstage access at Rolling Stones concerts. Other photos capture him vacationing alongside powerful and famous figures, including former President Bill Clinton, Ghislaine Maxwell, and unidentified women whose faces are redacted. Clinton appears in multiple photos alongside actors Kevin Spacey and Chirs Tucker. Some of the images show the group relaxing together, while one depicts a man receiving a massage from an unidentified woman. Another photo shows Clinton touring Winston Churchill's World War II war room in London, taken during the same period Epstein was traveling with influential associates. One image drawing renewed attention shows Epstein holding a framed check signed by Donald Trump for $22,500, dated 1997 and believed to have been taken at Mar-a-Lago. The woman pictured next to Epstein is redacted. A related image of the same check had been released previously, though attorneys connected to the woman involved have disputed claims tied to earlier descriptions of the photo. The files also include a number of personal and unusual images from Epstein's residences and travels. Photos show Epstein inspecting a cake shaped like a woman's breast, embracing friends during tropical vacations, and images from gatherings that include performers such as a drag queen dancing in red underwear and striped stockings. Inside Epstein's Manhattan townhouse, images reveal unusual decor, including multiple copies of the book Fire and Fury, a caricature of Epstein and Bill Clinton displayed above a toilet, a gorilla mask mounted in a bathroom, and a hanging figure above a staircase. Another undated photo shows Epstein dining with Clinton and Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger. In one image, Clinton and Jagger appear seated beside a woman whose face is blacked out. The release also includes a photo of Epstein with Michael Jackson, along with other images showing Jackson with Clinton and Diana Ross. Not all material is visible. One file in the release consists of 100 pages that are completely blacked out, reflecting extensive redactions that remain throughout the datasets. Additional images show Epstein on his private island, including photos of him wearing a military-style cap resembling one associated with Cuban leader Fidel Castro. The Justice Department has indicated that more Epstein-related material could be released in the coming days as the review process continues. For now, the latest disclosure offers a broad visual record of Epstein's associations, travels, and personal spaces, adding new detail to a case that continues to draw intense public scrutiny years after his death.
All of these new photos have dropped, and what did shock me is that Michael Jackson appears to be we be more objective? Should we be more, unbiased? I don't know, guys. I don't have all the answers. This is just my off the bat reaction to these images and these files being dropped, released. I'm probably missing other celebrities as well that came out. And, there are letters of him basically saying that he will expose and burn these journalists' houses down who were threatening to release this stuff.
It wasn't even, the mic wasn't even on. Oh. So, hey, man, like, I'm going to say this. Like, I feel that Chris Tucker might be telling the truth, but, like, people like Rolling Stones legend Mick Jagger, he's suspect because he is in the picture with the girl with her face redacted.
Same thing as Bill Clinton, and I'm not gonna put that jacket on MJ. So Chris Tucker and MJ, I feel like, I don't know, I ain't trying to be biased, bro, but like there isn't any pictures with them with the girls, so I can't sit there and say that they participated in that activity. I could kind of say that Mick Jagger did though, and then those photos of backstage uh concerts with Rolling Stones and Jeffrey Epstein, that makes you think that, you know, Mick Jagger had a real close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, man. So did Bill Clinton, so did Michael Jackson. But Michael Jackson and Chris Tucker, they could have just been good friends of Jeffrey Epstein. It doesn't mean that they took part in those activities uh just because they have pictures with him. Now, I know there's a whole that there's more, what, 6,000 photos? That's only 1,000 photos released. So there's gonna be a lot more. You've seen Kevin Spacey, a couple other actors. You've seen the royal family from the UK, you know what I'm saying? So definitely I feel like in the coming weeks, because Trump has to release the rest of them, we're gonna see more uh familiar faces. Then again, really in 2000, I think, what was it, 2019 through 20, they were releasing all the names that were in the Epstein list, and that was when they were talking about all that pizza stuff and the codes and the trucks with the trafficking and all that. And there was a lot of famous names in there, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of famous people in the pictures, but we're just gonna have to wait and see, man. Definitely crazy news. Um and like I said, I just don't believe, I can't believe that MJ or Chris Tucker involved themselves in that type of activity. Now Mick Jagger, I'm not trying to sit here and say it's for sure, but that picture does paint a picture with him with the little girl's face redacted. So yeah, man, that's that right there. Um, like I said, in the coming weeks, we should have an update because Trump does have to release the rest of the photos, the files, the letters, all those different things. Um, but for right now, that's my take on it. Is I feel like MJ, not to be biased, but MJ and Chris Tucker, I don't think they involved themselves or participated in those type of activities, man. Kevin Spacey, Mick Jagger, Bill Clinton, I can't sit there and say that they didn't, but yeah, man. So we're gonna be on to the next one, man. Follow me on Kick, Twitch, Discord, IG, TikTok, Rumble, Hype, share, hit that notification bell. We gone.